Hello everybody, this is Monkeypuzzle, and welcome to part 3 of building the flusher in survival on my homeworld. And just to give you some context, in case you missed the previous episodes, the thing you see in front of me is my creative world prototype for a self-triggering, self-flushing mob item farm that also includes enderman in the water stream. It's stackable. So I'm working on building a three-tiered version of this in, like I said, in survival. If you've missed these versions and you want to see them first, on the fish in my hand, I will put a link to this video you're looking at where I demonstrate the prototype in creative. On the far left from there, I'll put a link to part 1 of building it in survival, and in between the two, I'll put a link to part 2. And so you can go back and catch up on those if you want, or else you just can keep going. And by the way, I'm finally done with my cold, even though I had it the whole time I was filming this. So let's get on with finishing this. Alright, so I completed 2 more levels, and I made this roof on top of it all that works with the flow of the water. Each of these light spots marked with the half slabs indicates a place where the water sources should go to fill it all out. And since I'm expecting to be pushed off up here, I built this nice little infinite spring, and I'm going to go ahead and start placing all the water if I can without getting pushed off. And there you have it, a roof totally covered with water. So while I'm out here in the water, I took a dive off the roof at the end. I just wanted to show you it from a distance. The structure is basically done. There's just last bits to finish, which mainly have to do with making sure that there's no place out here that endermen can teleport to. There's definitely some spaces that are 3 high or more out here, so we're going to be going around the edges and adding some more lines of stone or half slabs to make sure there's no gap that's more than 2 blocks high. And I'm going to be working on that next. There's 2 basic places I'm going to work on it, and I'll show you each of those briefly. There's some aesthetic things I'd like to work on too. I'm not going to work on that too much in this episode though, because it's already getting quite lengthy. That's something that I can work on in upcoming episodes. But yeah, we're almost there. So as part of that reconfiguring to solve the 3-block issue, I've reconfigured the ladder. There were some ways that it was problematic the way it was set up before. So I did this. It just gets the ladder turned around the other way, and then this solves that issue, except I've got this, that. I have to take care of that. There we go. Problem solved. Yeah, every place where there's a ladder basically has to have open space below it, and this one isn't completely open, but it's got water, so that solves that. It took me stacking these modules together to really know what they were going to look like and what I needed to do to change the functionality and also to tweak the aesthetics a little bit. So as far as the 3-block high issue goes, there's 2 main areas I need to work on, 2 types of ledges basically. The first are these ones, these areas right outside the spawning area adjacent to the pistons. I changed one thing out here already. I should show you is the area where you come up on the ladder. I changed out the half slabs for stairs. The reason being is even though half slabs exclude light, the mobs can see you through them, and the skeletons can shoot through them, and the creepers, if they're next to you, they'll blow up and blow up this whole area. So the stairs offer you windows of sorts, but complete immunity from the mobs. So I just put those there uh, to be in the area right outside in the spawning pads. And so anyway, these ledges I'm going to replace. I'm going to add, basically not replace, but add double half slabs because I think the light color will really work with the look, and the other half slabs below. And then the other area to complete the uh, filling in the gaps is these pads right here. Basically, I got to extend them one more block out with, I'm going to do it with the stone bricks. And as I go along, every interval like this is going to get 2 redstone lamps, because those would be cool when you're looking from the outside. They'll indicate which pads are activated, and will also kind of look good. So I'm going to do those 2 things, and I will get back to you when I'm done, and there'll be even fewer details left after that. As I was going along the edge here, making this look like this, I thought I should show you. I decided to increase the sensitivity of the flusher, and that's pretty easy to do. All you got to do in those AND gate handles, I've now filled in so I can walk across. You just take one of these and do that, and add the dust instead. And now what that does is these 2 pads act as a pair in coordination with those 2 pads over there. So if either of these 2 pads is being stepped on and either of those 2 pads is being stepped on, the thing will flush. Versus if both sides, well, you have to do this to both sides for that to be the case. Right now, actually, these 2 are acting like a pair, and those 2 both have to be stepped on separately. So there's actually a number of configurations that can be done. I'm going to do it so this is a pair and that's the pair. So it'll flush with a lower density of mobs is what that will do. Rather than if each of these has to be stepped on to trigger, you need more mobs in here. Because we have 3 levels, I want to start with the more sensitive to a lower density setting, see how it goes, and if the 3 levels are consistently flushing less than the max number of spawn mobs, which is 72, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. Then I'll decrease the sensitivity and put some of these torches back again. Hopefully that makes sense to you all. Just wanted to show you that as I do it, so that if you build this, you can decide what sensitivity you want. Actually, I missed that. The lamp goes there. Alright. As you're going through doing this, make sure you leave plenty of lighting on all the spaces like this that are too high, and then they won't be a problem either. Alright. One more thing I noticed is that this needs a repeater right there. But if you put the block back, you're going to have to take the repeater off because it'll do the same thing as not having it. Alright. Alright, so just for the purposes of showing you guys what it looks like from a distance, I've made a copy and put it into Creative. And just to be clear, this is not something I normally do. None of this work was done in Creative, and nothing in Creative goes back to Survival. I just wanted to, from inside it, you can't really see like this what's going on. So this is what I've made. This is 1, 2, 3 levels of the mob flusher. Now that I've done it, stacked it, I'd have a better idea of how to do it like this from the get-go. I think there's still some aesthetic polishing that needs to happen. There's definitely needs a little aesthetic, well, like I said, polishing, but it's fully functional. Go through the functionality first, then I'll say some of the aesthetics that I think could get changed.
Um, but I went through, and as you see, there's no place on the outside that has a more than 2 blocks high. Um, Let me see. The the switches, the AND gates on the side, they're all set now to what I was just talking about in the previous segment, where they have one torch that is activated by either of 2 pressure pads. So the each of the modules is acting has basically 2 pairs that are working in tandem against each other or with each other. And that could be changed just by adding that torch on the block again right there. Um, these parts here were a little tricky to eliminate the 3 block gap. You can't cut off this wire right here. Even though this side's not being used right now, I'm leaving this so I can put those back when I need them. You have to put on either side of this block, you have to put just single half slabs, and on top of this one, you got to cap it with a half slabs because half slabs don't cut redstone wire. So it looks a little awkward, but it solves the issue of the gap here. What else can I show you guys? Around here, for the ladder, uh, each of the platforms to stand on doesn't have more than a 2 block high space either. So I've got that all blocked in so that you can walk here. And then this is the finished version right here with the 2 little observation windows made of stairs. These 2 are still open because the last thing I'm going to do is go in there and turn off the lighting, remove the glowstone, and see what the thing does. And last thing I'm going to show you while I'm in this mode is the water roof. Could be designed any number of ways. It's kind of a Rorschach test how you want to do it. You could even make the edge straight if you just wanted to put a whole line of source blocks. I think the edges would still have to, the corners would still have to be this angle like this, unless you wanted to do something funky like put signs all along the edge or whatever. So aesthetically, this works with me. Works for me, and I'm gonna roll with it for now. Yeah, so in future episodes, I can work on polishing it. Just real briefly, the ways I see it could either go is you could block in a facade, areas like this. You could block it all in and create some unification of the surface that way. Uh, just do this one segment to give you guys an idea. So you could do that to give it more unification, or I'll go around the other side, or I think you could take the opposite approach, which I might do to start with. Oh, that's got the ladder. I'll go back to the other side. Woo! So that's one way. The other way I think it actually might look better is if this 2 high wall containing the circuitry, if we took that back down to a 1 high wall, did that all the way around, I think the separation, you can't really see it without taking the other side, the separation might create uh, a little bit, make it a little clearer to see what's going on here, and also blocking in the tube in between, so it's more clear as well. I think that that might look decent as well. Anyway, open to people voting on what should be done to make it look a little less busy, but that's another episode. So I'm gonna close this copy and go back to survival. And like I said, nothing in here goes back to there. Never do this. I'm very rigid about keeping everything vanilla and totally legit. I just, for the purposes of this demonstration, wanted to show you guys what it looked like. Alright, let's go back. Alright, it's the big moment. Time to pull this glowstone out. See what this thing does when it's dark. Very excited. A little nervous. Have to admit, I think this is probably the most elaborate thing I've built in Minecraft yet, as far as one thing. And pretty confident it's going to be okay. Do have a caveat. There's a fair amount of abandoned mine shafts and ravines and caves, and actually, to be honest, a ridiculous amount of them down below here. So hopefully those aren't going to compete too hard. Uh, Oops, with this spawner here. A little worried too because in the whole time I've been building this, I only had one accidental spawn, and granted I've been very careful about lighting things up, but has me a little worried. But I think it's gonna be all right. So anyway, there's no turning back now. Gonna go for it. I'm working my way up so that things falling down this way don't shoot at me. Oh, and it looks like I missed the first one. Oh well, it's gonna be what it's gonna be. Because this is the top one, I can tell by the little wood plug. That's there in case I want to do a fourth level at some point. Okay. Let's close this one up. I think I missed the first one because I've already had it closed up. Okay, so we're going to do this in reverse logical order. Hopefully I don't, well, hopefully I do get mobs falling down on me, because that means it's going to be active up there. Although I am still a little close for spawning, so we'll wait till I get a little farther away. I don't have an observation deck yet. To watch it from afar. That's why I did that little jaunt in creative real quick, so just so we could see what it looks like. That is going to be one of the last things I do, is build a bleacher for this one so we can look from afar and see how it's doing. Okay, so if I'm not mistaken, that is all 3 levels. How do I get down here? Put that there. Come out here. Alright, it's closed up. Let's go down here and see if anything drops on us. I guess we could take a boat ride out too. Let's shut this guy off. I'm not planning to go anywhere for a minute. It might take a minute to come into balance too. If there's the full complement of spawned critters down here, it's going to take those guys despawning until this one starts getting its fair proportion of the spawns. So yeah, it might take a minute to warm up, and then once it has a certain percentage of the spawns going on, it should go a little faster. Alright, I want somebody to drop so I can feel good about this. Alright, well, it's gonna happen. I'm gonna bring you guys back when it does. Maybe I'll go for a little boat ride and see what's happening from afar. Maybe start working on those bleachers. That's a good thing to do. Up, up, up! We got our first skeleton. You saw it right there. One skeleton. It must have fallen down from the signs. Grab our first items. Put them in a trophy case on a wall. That's what Minecraft lacks, needs, is a little trophy case. A place you can put items that you can look at them. I had a... Hey, number 2. Alright, we're starting to happen here. Let's make a boat. That's what we're gonna do. Do I have any wood? I'm hearing stuff happen. I am. Picking up, picking up. Let's take a little ride. Watch all the redstone lamps flashing. Hey, those are lit. We got somebody up there. And they're still lit up. We got something there. This is exciting. Okay, well, I'm going to make some bleachers while I let this thing warm up, and we can observe it from a better angle. And I will bring you guys back then. Up, action, action. Someone there and there. Oh, the thing's starting to happen. Oh, here we go. Okay, I'm gonna do what I said. I'm gonna make those bleachers. I'll be back. We got a little problem here. We got some blockage. I think I just need to make this glass one lower. Thanks. And of course, one higher is what I meant. There it is. A very simple little observation deck. Enderman proof. Doesn't quite compare to this structure, but it's going to do the job. So let's go sit up there and see what's going on. Alright, well, I have to say this structure is growing on me. I think we've got an enderman in there, right in that middle layer. Let me turn this on so you can point. I think we got an enderman right there. I've seen 3 endermen bouncing around in there dying, so I know it works. We've solved the enderman leak. And he knows that I see him. He's quivering. Eventually that's going to turn on. See, on this one's flushing right now. See, both those torches are off. So it's working. The thing that's not working yet is our spawn rates are really low. Oh, we've got several endermen in here. So as soon as that gets triggered, that's going to be our demo that we've solved the enderman leak. So we're going to hang out here till those guys fall down, and that's probably going to be about the end of the video. What I got to do next is go down and do some serious caving, which is not a problem. That's a good thing to do. I'm going to light up everything below. The ravines, the abandoned mine shafts, the caves, everything in a pretty big range. And as I go along, I'm going to get immediate results. You know, a 4th layer might be appropriate, but I think it'll be a much better thing to do the caving first. Because we're just not getting the perfect spawning rates that we were getting in the test world, where there was no place else for things to spawn. Yeah, so hopefully somebody else will spawn in there soon, and we're going to see these endermen fall down to their death. Not that I have anything particularly against them. This is kind of like fishing. Instead of watching the little red thing bob in the water, we're watching these lights go on, and we got a skeleton standing on there. But I've seen flushes on every level. The mechanism is working really well, and like I said, the design, it's growing on me. Oh, here we go. Okay, it's flushing, and the endermen are getting pushed down, and they're falling in and dying in the water at the bottom. Got one enderman down there, and where'd the second go? Huh. Well, either I missed it, he fell when I wasn't looking. I'll have to look back and see the video. I don't think there's any place they can go to. We've got some more drops happening. So we have a flush on the top level happening. So I want you guys or I'm asking you guys to, we've got a second flush happening there, to help me come up with a name with this. I've been calling it the Mob Flusher. Maybe as a counterpoint to JL2579's The Flow, maybe this one is The Flush. You guys tell me. But thanks for watching this. I really appreciate it. And hope you guys like this design. It's going to evolve. This one's flushing now. And as soon as I get that caving done, we're going to see it really pumping out. But we know it works. Alright, see you next time. I just came back to see that happy little ender ball floating there, and just wanted to show you guys. That is our first sign of success. Boom.
Just putting a quick narration on here to point out, because I missed it when I was filming it, but those two ender pearls up in the top middle of my inventory are from those two that we pointed out. The ones on the right I had already. So we are indeed capturing all the endermen. Just bringing you back for one more clip here before I really sign off. And by the way, there was one more spot left that Enderman could teleport to, and that was the tops of these pistons on both sides. So I'm solving that by decorating the thing by putting water streams on top of them. But what I wanted to show you is that when I talk about the density of the subterranean world under here, I'm not exaggerating. So this is what I'm going to do between now and the next video I show on this subject is I'm going to light all this up. We got tons and tons of abandoned mine shaft rooms down here. We've got a ravine over there. Some of these are lit by lava, which is good, but there's just caves going everywhere. Everywhere I look, there's underground structures. I'm probably gonna have to brighten this up to show it to you. But yeah, so that's going to make a big difference in the rate of the spawning in there. So we'll get that done, and it's not a bad thing. More chances to hone my mob killing skills, and I'm sure there'll be tons of resources that will gather down there, and it'll add dimension to this water world we've got out here, all underground. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna get that dealt with, and I will bring you back to see what happens when we're done. Really enjoyed making this for you. It was a lot of work, so if you liked it, please like it, and definitely encourage you to subscribe if you want to follow along with this design and everything else going on. And I always want to say I'll see you later, but it doesn't work that way on the internet. But anyway, I look forward to the next time you join me on YouTube, and I will join you in spirit right back while I'm making it. Alright, this is Monkeypuzzle, and bye bye.